Arch Linux has always held a special place in the Linux world. It is not just another Linux distribution. It is a philosophy, a mindset, and for many people, a journey into understanding how operating systems truly work. Every month, Arch Linux releases a refreshed ISO image that bundles together the latest packages, improvements, and installation tools. While Arch itself follows a rolling release model, meaning users constantly receive updates without needing to reinstall, these monthly ISO releases are still important because they simplify the installation process for new users and ensure that fresh installations begin with the latest software stack available. Now, the November 2025 ISO release has arrived, and it brings some major updates that are exciting both for longtime Arch veterans and newcomers alike. The headline features include the powerful Linux Kernel 6.17 and the updated Archinstall 3.0.12 installer. Together, these changes represent another major step in Arch Linux's evolution toward modern hardware support, improved usability, stronger security, and smoother installation experiences. To understand why this release matters, you first need to understand what makes Arch Linux unique compared to almost every other Linux distribution on the market. Most operating systems focus on being ready-made products. They provide pre-configured environments, bundled applications, and heavily customized interfaces. Arch Linux takes a different approach entirely. Instead of hiding the system behind layers of automation, Arch gives users direct control over nearly every aspect of the operating system. This approach is reflected in its famous philosophy: simplicity, modernity, pragmatism, user centrality, and versatility. Simplicity in Arch does not mean easy. Instead, it means avoiding unnecessary abstraction. The system is designed to be transparent and understandable. For years, Arch Linux had a reputation for being difficult to install. The traditional installation process involved booting into a live environment and manually partitioning disks, formatting file systems, mounting partitions, installing the base system, configuring bootloaders, generating locales, setting up networking, and more. This process was educational but intimidating. Many users admired Arch from afar but never tried it because they feared making mistakes. Over time, however, the Arch Linux developers recognized that accessibility could improve without compromising the core philosophy. This led to the creation of Archinstall, an official guided installer designed to automate repetitive steps while still allowing users to understand and customize their systems. With the November 2025 ISO, Archinstall reaches version 3.0.12, and this is one of the most polished iterations of the installer yet. The developers have spent years refining the balance between convenience and flexibility. Earlier versions sometimes suffered from bugs, hardware detection problems, or inconsistent workflows. But by version 3.0.12, Archinstall has matured into a reliable tool capable of handling everything from simple desktop installations to advanced encrypted setups and customized partition layouts. One of the biggest improvements in this release is the installer's enhanced hardware compatibility. Modern computers continue evolving rapidly, especially laptops featuring new chipsets, AI accelerators, advanced graphics systems, and high-speed storage technologies. The latest Archinstall release improves detection for NVMe drives, hybrid GPU configurations, and newer Wi-Fi chipsets. This means fewer manual interventions during installation and a smoother out-of-box experience. Another area where Archinstall 3.0.12 shines is file system management. Linux users today have more file system choices than ever before. ext4 remains reliable and widely used, but file systems like Btrfs and XFS have gained popularity because of features such as snapshots, data integrity checking, compression, and scalability. Archinstall now handles these advanced file systems more intelligently. Btrfs subvolume creation is easier and more consistent, making it simpler for users to create snapshot-friendly layouts compatible with tools like Timeshift or Snapper. This matters because modern Linux users increasingly care about system rollback capabilities, especially after updates. Encryption support has also improved significantly. Full disk encryption is becoming a standard expectation rather than a niche feature. As cybersecurity threats grow and laptops become more portable, users want stronger protection for personal data. Archinstall 3.0.12 simplifies encrypted installations by streamlining LUKS configuration and improving compatibility with TPM-based unlocking methods. For enterprise users and privacy-conscious individuals, this is a huge benefit. The installer can now better detect hardware encryption capabilities and integrate them into the installation process. Networking improvements are another important part of the new installer. Wireless networking has historically been one of the trickiest parts of Linux installations, especially with modern WPA3 networks and enterprise authentication systems. The updated installer handles Wi-Fi setup more gracefully, with improved support for modern authentication standards. This reduces installation friction, especially for laptop users who rely entirely on wireless connectivity. The desktop environment selection process within Archinstall has also become more polished. One of the strengths of Arch Linux is that it allows users to choose exactly the desktop environment or window manager they want. Whether someone prefers KDE Plasma, GNOME, XFCE, Cinnamon, Hyperion, Sway, or a minimalist tiling environment, Archinstall provides flexible choices. In version 3.0.12, package group selection is more reliable, dependency conflicts are better handled, and desktop-specific defaults have been refined for a cleaner first boot experience. But while Archinstall improves usability, the true star of this release may actually be Linux Kernel 6.17. The Linux kernel is the heart of the operating system. It controls hardware communication, process management, memory allocation, security enforcement, and system scheduling. Every new kernel release brings changes that impact performance, hardware support, and functionality across the entire Linux ecosystem. Kernel 6.17 represents months of development work from thousands of contributors around the world. One of the biggest highlights of Linux Kernel 6.17 is expanded hardware support for next-generation CPUs. By late 2025, both Intel and AMD have introduced new architectures featuring hybrid cores, AI acceleration engines, and advanced power management systems. Linux Kernel 6.17 includes optimizations that improve scheduling behavior on these processors. Hybrid CPU architectures combine high-performance cores with efficiency cores, and efficient task scheduling is critical for achieving the right balance between speed and battery life. The new scheduler updates in Kernel 6.17 improve workload distribution, especially for laptops and mobile devices. AMD users in particular benefit from major updates in this kernel release. Ryzen processors continue dominating both gaming and productivity markets, and Linux support for AMD hardware has become exceptionally strong in recent years. Kernel 6.17 improves support for newer Ryzen AI processors and enhances thermal management capabilities. Better fan curve handling, improved suspend behavior, and more accurate power reporting all contribute to a better Linux experience on modern AMD systems. Intel users are also seeing significant improvements. The latest Intel integrated graphics architectures receive expanded support in the kernel's graphics stack. This means smoother rendering performance, lower power consumption, and better compatibility with Wayland-based desktop environments. Intel's AI acceleration hardware also gains improved driver integration, allowing Linux applications to better leverage local machine learning workloads. Graphics support overall is one of the most exciting areas of Kernel 6.17. The Linux graphics ecosystem has evolved dramatically in recent years. Wayland adoption continues increasing, gaming performance has improved substantially, and open-source GPU drivers are more capable than ever. AMD's Radeon drivers continue receiving major enhancements, particularly in Vulkan performance and power efficiency. NVIDIA users are also benefiting from continued improvements to OpenGPU kernel modules and Wayland compatibility. While NVIDIA on Linux historically caused frustration, recent years have seen substantial progress, and Kernel 6.17 contributes further stability improvements. Gaming on Linux is now a legitimate mainstream activity rather than a niche hobby, and Arch Linux remains one of the most popular distributions among Linux gamers because it provides rapid access to the latest drivers and software updates. Kernel 6.17 includes updates that reduce latency in certain gaming workloads, improve USB polling consistency for gaming peripherals, and enhance compatibility with anti-cheat systems. Combined with the latest Mesa graphics stack available in Arch repositories, this creates an excellent gaming environment. Storage performance has also improved significantly in Linux. Kernel 6.17 NVMe drives continue becoming faster and more sophisticated, and the kernel must constantly adapt to new controller technologies and power management behaviors. The latest kernel introduces optimizations that improve throughput and reduce latency on certain PCIe Gen 5 storage devices. There are also refinements to file system caching behavior, helping systems feel more responsive during heavy multitasking. Btrfs users gain additional benefits in Kernel 6.17 as well. The file system continues evolving into a highly capable modern solution for Linux desktops and servers. Performance improvements in metadata handling and snapshot operations make Btrfs even more attractive for users who value rollback functionality and data integrity. RAID handling has also become more stable and efficient. Security enhancements are another major focus of the new kernel. Linux security is an ongoing arms race, with developers constantly responding to new attack techniques and vulnerabilities. Kernel 6.17 introduces refinements to memory isolation mechanisms, improved sandboxing features, and expanded support for modern security hardware. These changes help protect systems against emerging threats while maintaining performance.